stand should be fair, genuine, and impartial, not taking side 100% in favor of the Israeli interests. Because a peace which is not genuine would not last. History has shown us that in order to safeguard the peace, it should be genuine, it should be just. And justice for us means that we accept to have a Palestinian state on only 22% of the historical size of Palestine. Please do not forget this figure. When we call for the establishment of the Palestinian state in West Bank and Gaza, that means we are giving up 80% of the historical size of Palestine to Israel. So this is how it is. This is a picture that should be very clear in the mind of everybody when we talk about peace. Syria is willing to re-engage in the peace process. We have been negotiating with the Israelis for 10 years after Madrid conference that started in 1991. There was a deal struck between us and George Bush, the father, at that time. In accordance to it, we participated at the liberation of Kuwait. We fought, our soldiers fought side by side with the American soldiers to liberate Kuwait from the Iraqi invasion, providing that the American administration would work out a peace deal with Israel to get back the Syrian Golan and to establish a Palestinian state. We have gone so far in this deal. We have almost achieved 90% of the deal with the Israelis along 10 years of negotiations. And for those who would like to know why this peace process stopped in the year 2000, I would refer you to the memoir of President Clinton, in which he elaborates what happened. Let me brief you about it. In the last round of negotiations in Y Plantation between Syrian and Israelis, we agreed both to go back to the capitals and to send within 10 days military delegations to Washington with maps in order to delineate the international border between Syria and Israel, which means the final step to strike a deal. What happened is that after 10 days, the Israeli did not send their military delegation to Washington, but we did. And when Clinton calls on Barak asking him why he didn't yet send the military delegation, the Israeli prime minister, who used to be Barak at that time, told Clinton, "I don't want to be assassinated like Rabin." That was his answer. And this is why we are still losing time and turning around this vicious cycle of violence in the area. Peace requires courage. If we don't have the courage, we cannot make peace.
Let me interrupt you there. Thank you. This is very interesting. I did not know that Syria had asked in 1919 that it should be placed under US mandate. And that's a very interesting fact now. But let me take you back. We'll come back to your foreign relations. I want to know a bit more about Syria. And I note that you have not answered my first question, but then that's the sign of a smart diplomat. Don't answer questions, answer something else. So let me try a second question. You have, in Syria, you have a political party which is called the Ba'ath Party. It's a long-living party. It's been there for a long, long time. It's almost a uni-party system. Is the Ba'ath Party a socialist party? Is it a fascist party? Is it a nationalist party? What type of party is it? What is its raison d'etre? And how do you, as a Frenchman like me, as a Frenchman, How do you react to the concept of a single party for so long? What are its objectives, and what do the Syrians think about it?
Well, thank you very much. Another important question, as usual, coming from Ahmed. The word Ba'ath means renaissance. It means reinvigorating the Arab nation. Textually speaking, this is what is the meaning of Ba'ath. Ba'ath also has a third meaning, which would be something like surviving through turmoils, or giving life to somebody who is almost dead. So it has many meanings, but all of them have a noble goal, which is to reinvigorate the energy of somebody. Ba'ath Party was born, officially speaking, was founded, officially speaking, on 1946. At that time, Syria got its independence from France. We were under colonial system for almost 30 years. France occupied Syria on 1920, right after the conference of Versailles, right after the conference of Versailles. When the conference collapsed, France and Britain implemented their secret agreements, and they occupied the whole area. So between 1920 up to 1946, Syria was under colonial French rule. There were many Syrian revolutions against this French occupation until they left, and we obliged them to leave by force. But of course, we paid the price. They made us pay the price by dividing us, by cutting Syria into pieces, as Ambassador Ahmed said in his introductory speech. They created out of Syria what is now, in the present day, Lebanon, Jordan. Palestine used to be a district of Damascus, related to Damascus. And there is another detail that few people know, which is the northwest part of Iraq, western part of Iraq nowadays, used to be Syrian territory also. The city of Mosul, which is now in Kurdistan, the Kurdish part of Iraq, used to be part of Syria also. If we add to this the area which is now under Turkish rule, which is called Alexandrite and Kilikia, these two regions used to be part of Syria also. So the French, in order to gain the sympathy of Turkey, not to join the German in the Second World War, the French gave to Turkey this Alexandrite region of Syria. Of course, the issue of Palestine, you know a lot about it. The British opened the door of Palestine at that time to the Jewish immigration. France occupied Syria, and in the same year, France created what they used to call the Mount of Lebanon. It wasn't the current Lebanon. It was much smaller than what it is now. They used to call it the Mount of Great Lebanon. The idea for France at that time was to create a Christian country in the Middle East. The British wanted to have a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The French thought that they should create a Christian homeland in the Middle East. That was the main idea. Ignoring that, the three monotheist religions have lived in this area since Abraham, which means religion is, for us, an integral part of our daily life.